Can you imagine the day when the truth no longer comes from gossip blogs, court filings, or messy reality TV edits, but from the very children someone claims to protect? That day has come for Martell Holt. The man who once built his image around fatherhood, discipline, and family values is now facing the harshest critics he could ever imagine: his own kids. And the heartbreaking part? They aren't just whispering their pain anymore. They're telling their story out loud, exposing secrets that make Martell's carefully polished mask crack wide open. For years, he controlled the narrative, presenting himself as the man who fought for his children against all odds. But what happens when those same children reveal that the fight wasn't for them at all, but for ego, control, and appearances? Tonight, we dive into a storm that has shaken fans, shocked the community, and left Martell standing in the ruins of the very family he swore to protect. Get ready, because the truth that has finally surfaced is not the one Martell ever wanted the world to hear. Long before the scandal unraveled, Martell Holt had the kind of story that inspired people. Born and raised in Huntsville, Alabama, he carried himself like the hometown boy who had made it. He was ambitious, charismatic, and carried that southern charm that made people believe he was destined for something bigger. When Love and Marriage, Huntsville first aired, Martell appeared as the perfect family man: a husband, a father, and a builder of dreams. Viewers saw him side by side with Melody, building not only businesses but also a life that seemed stable, rooted in faith, and unshakable commitment. Social media amplified that picture. Inspirational captions, Bible verses, and curated images of family vacations painted him as a man who loved his children above all else. People admired the Holt family, seeing them as proof that you could balance success with family, discipline with love. For a while, Martell had it all: the house, the wife, the respect, and the spotlight. But fame has a way of magnifying every crack in a foundation. As the cameras rolled, rumors of infidelity became whispers, then full-blown confessions. Martell's affair with Ariane Curry wasn't just a secret fling, it became the storyline that tore his family apart. Fans turned from sympathetic to angry. Melody, who once stood beside him, walked away with dignity, but not without scars. And while the world focused on Melody's strength and Martell's betrayal, the children were caught in the crossfire. They were too young to fully understand, but old enough to feel the tension, the broken promises, the sudden shift from unity to chaos. The divorce wasn't just between two adults, it was a fracture that rippled through every bedtime, every holiday, every sense of security the children had once known. At first, Martell tried to keep control of the narrative. He portrayed himself as the father fighting tooth and nail for custody, the man wronged by a system that favored mothers. He posted about discipline, structure, and how much he loved his kids. He showed off vacations with Ariane, while keeping Melody's children guarded under privacy rules. But fans noticed. They saw the double standards, the selective transparency. Behind the scenes, legal documents piled up: missed counseling sessions, ignored court orders, endless appeals designed to stretch out the battle. Melody showed consistency, while Martell showed strategy. Yet even then, his children stayed quiet, caught between two worlds. But here's the twist nobody saw coming. Silence doesn't last forever. Kids grow up. They watch, they remember, and eventually they speak. And when Martell's children began to share their truth, it wasn't filtered through lawyers or TV producers. It was raw, unpolished, and deeply painful. They spoke about promises broken, about a father more focused on winning arguments than winning their trust. They admitted what fans had long suspected, that his public image as devoted dad didn't always match the private reality they lived. These weren't internet rumors. These were the words of the very people Martell claimed to fight for. And that made all the difference. Imagine the weight of that moment. For years, Martell insisted he was misunderstood, that the media twisted the story. But when your children start repeating the same truths the public has been whispering for years, there's no escape. They revealed how constant conflict left them anxious, how being pulled between households drained their sense of safety, how the public performance of fatherhood didn't match the private experience of being his child. They didn't paint him as a monster. They painted him as a man who put ego before empathy, who used battles as a way to keep control, who cared more about perception than peace. And fans? They listened. The tide of public opinion, already shaky, turned completely. No longer was this just about Melody versus Martell, or side chicks and court documents. This became about children forced to carry burdens that weren't theirs to carry. Viewers who once entertained themselves with the drama suddenly saw the cost innocent voices now revealing the scars of years of chaos. For Martell, the fallout was immediate. His brand as the devoted father collapsed overnight. Endorsements, opportunities, even the sympathy of fans all slipped away. Because nothing shatters a man's reputation faster than his own children exposing the truth. But the deeper tragedy isn't just Martell's fall from grace. It's the emotional toll his children carried for years. Kids in high-conflict families don't just suffer in the moment, they absorb lessons about love, trust, and responsibility that shape them for life. They saw a father who wanted control more than compromise. They saw a man who paraded his new life online, while dragging their mother through endless legal battles. They saw hypocrisy up close, lavish vacations with one family, strict rules with another. And those memories don't fade. They become part of how these kids will view relationships, power, and love in their own futures. Martell's downfall, then, isn't just about losing court battles or public opinion. It's about losing the one thing he claimed to fight for, the respect and trust of his children. You can rebuild businesses. You can rebrand an image. But once your children no longer see you as their safe place, that is a loss that money, fame, or pride cannot fix. The end of Martell's story isn't written by tabloids or angry fans. It's written in the voices of the kids who lived through his choices. And that is a legacy no man wants to leave behind. So what does this mean moving forward? For Melody, it means a chance at healing, though scars remain. For the children, it means finally being heard, finally telling the world that beneath the Instagram captions and court filings, they were hurting. For Martell, it means reckoning with a truth he can't control, can't spin, can't hide. His own children have exposed him, and in doing so, they have stripped away the illusion he worked so hard to maintain. The devoted father act is over. What's left is a man staring at the wreckage of his own choices, wondering how it all came to this. And here's the painful irony. The end of Martell's public image didn't come from gossip blogs or rival cast members. It didn't come from Melody, or even from Ariane. It came from the voices of the very people he should have protected above all else. His children. And once they spoke, the story could never go back to what it was before. Martell Holt's life, as he branded it, has come to an end. Not because of scandal, not because of divorce, but because the truth has finally been told by the ones who matter most. Now the question is, what kind of man will he be when the spotlight fades, when the cameras stop, and when the children he claimed to fight for are no longer on his side? That, my friends, is the real ending to Martell Holt's story. And so, here we are. The story of Martell Holt has reached a point he never thought possible. It's not a cast member exposing him. It's not a blogger digging through court filings. It's not even Melody pulling back the curtain. It's his own children. The very people he swore to fight for are now the ones shining the brightest light on the truth he tried to hide. That is a pain no father wants to face, but it is also the clearest proof that the performance is over. The world has seen the captions, the staged photos, the endless claims of being a devoted dad. But children don't lie for clout. They don't create scandals for entertainment. When kids finally speak, they speak from hurt. They speak from nights they cried, from holidays broken apart, from the silent wish that their parents would choose peace over power. And once those words leave their mouths, there is no going back. Martell may still post, he may still fight, but the truth is louder than any Instagram caption. The truth is that his children saw everything, and they will remember. The public may forgive, fans may move on, but kids don't forget the moments that shaped their childhood. They don't forget who brought calm and who brought chaos. That is why Martell's story feels final. Because reputations can be rebuilt, but trust with your children? Once that is broken, it takes more than words, more than posts, more than court battles to repair. Martell Holt's life, as he carefully crafted it, has ended. What remains now is not the image of a father, but the reality of a man who lost the one thing that mattered most: his children's faith in him.